here are a couple things that are critical for you to understand, right? Some guiding principles. The best way to manage and maximize your money, your funds that you're coming into, wealth is a mindset in a situation, and you can change both, right? We all start from somewhere, right? And then we have to figure out, what do we want to do from here, right? If we're starting from the bottom, we want to keep going up. Middle, we still want to go up. And even at the top, you want to make sure you are maintaining and you still have a little bit of room to go up. So you all start from somewhere, right? And then where you go from there is a function of your mindset, right? So how do I educate? How do I make sure that I'm fully capable of executing on a plan, building a plan, but I know what that plan is? And so that's where the mindset piece comes in. And that mindset will help to guide your direction in the things that you do, right? The decisions that you make with your finances, with your personal finances. So you want to, again, make sure that you understand that, it's a situation, circumstance, and then mindset that really starts from the ground. And then the next one, learn the rules to the game in finance. There are multiple rules in the personal finance game, and knowing these will help you to, save yourself a lot of unnecessary risks and bad decisions. And the rules, unfortunately, are intentionally complex, right? So in personal finance, the deck's stacked against you. And so you have to figure out, what are these rules in personal finance, and how do I position myself to make the right decisions to continue to help to build good personal financial habits, right? So in this case, we kind of show you here an example. Unfortunately, somebody took out, almost $40,000 in loans, right? They paid $30,000 and still owe $47,000. The math doesn't make sense. Some of you guys are probably thinking, like, how do you pay that and still owe that, right? So there are a couple of different pieces in terms of, again, unnecessarily high interest rates, actually not paying your principal and interest at the right balance that can actually help you reduce your principal as you're making payments. So you want to make sure that you understand the structure of how you're making financial decisions and the financial terms, their impact on your lives. So those are some super critical things, right? You want to put yourself in a position to win. So learn the rules of the game. And then here you want to know, credit is super important, right? Right? Your credit is actually calculated on a daily basis, and you want to make sure you pay attention to that. You don't have to look at it every day, but you want to make sure that you periodically go and check your credit scores, right? Make sure that it's the right information, and you want to check it from all three credit bureaus. So you may actually have variances in your credit score between Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, right? But a lot of that is actually based on data that the bureaus get in. It's not actually a different scoring model as much as they have different data sources in terms of creditors that are reporting to them. But you also want to make sure that even in the information that's in there, you want to check it to make sure it's accurate, right? Because if there's inaccurate information on your credit report, that can be held against you. So those are the things that you always want to make sure that you pay attention to check your credit report, the full report itself, make sure the data is accurate. And if it's not, then you can go and dispute anything that's not correctly on your credit report. I get a couple of quick tips here. Always pay your bills on time. Don't use too much revolving credit, AKA credit cards, and don't request a lot of new credit when you graduate. Don't go out and try to get 6 or 7 new credit cards. You may get 1 or 2, but truly don't go and go crazy with extra credit. And then, even though we said cash isn't king, how you spend your money is still super important in terms of maximizing and building wealth, right? And you want to make sure that you spend your money in the best way possible to provide you options to build savings, to create additional funds for yourself. So be very smart about how you spend your money, right? Yes, dinner in New York is pretty expensive. You can get really good dinners for $400, but you can also find ways to go to really good restaurants for $80, right? So be very critical on how you spend your money, because that is, again, setting you up with the right framework. And here you'll see that, again, create leverage for yourself, right? And in simple terms here, the average wealth or net worth of a homeowner is 40 times greater than a renter. Simple things. From home ownership, there are tax advantages, right? And then there are appreciation advantages. So as the price of your home appreciates, I'm building equity. I don't get that option if I rent forever, right? If I rent for the next 40 years, my landlord gets all that, right? So you want to be able to put yourself in a position to create financial leverage for yourself in whatever ways that is, right? Home ownership's one of them. Business ownership's another. Investing is another. So you want to create as many options to give yourself the place where a lot of financial institutions and other people want to do business with you and want to provide you capital. And so the other piece that we want to talk about here is that, create an emergency fund, right? You plan for the best, but, you set yourself up for the worst case scenario. So you want to start a savings for a rainy day fund because, again, unexpected things come up. Your car breaks down, this happens in life. You may lose your job for a bit, even after your first coming into the job market, but you want to prepare for those unexpected events in life. And so you create a cash cushion as much as you can and create leverage so that you have, choices if something were to go wrong. So again, these are just some of the quick guiding principles that we want to, share with you guys. Again, and then on our side, you can definitely check us out at myhomepathway.com. You can get a free credit score from our app as well. So you can kind of check in and see where your credit score is. And then personal finance is a lifelong endeavor, right? The rules of the personal finance game change over time, and you want to make sure you stay on top of it because you want to give yourself as much leverage as possible to continue to make the right decisions to set yourself up for long-term success.